A Southern California congressman introduced a first-of-its-kind federal bill to tackle the growing plastic pollution crisis. With global plastic production expected to triple by the year 2050, the Break Free from Plastic Pollution Act hopes to streamline our efforts to combat this crisis here in the U.S. Our Sarah Pila joins us this morning with more. Sarah, good morning to you.
Good morning, Mel. You know I'm at my favorite place, the beach, and that number you mentioned, plastic production expected to triple by 2050. That number is so alarming because when you come to the beach, plastic is virtually part of the ecosystem. It's everywhere. Just standing right here, you can see the big wrapper. That's the biggest thing you could probably see in the camera. Over here, plastic straws, some of the single-use plastic that we see littered at our beaches. And then not too far away, here's another little patch of seaweed where we have multiple pieces of straws and plastic wrappers. And so this Break Free from Plastic Pollution Act really intends to streamline, make nationwide standards for our recycling systems, as well as put the burden of cleaning up this plastic waste onto the corporations that produce them in the first place. Take a look. It's refreshing to finally get into the water for a morning surf sesh because for Santa Monica High School teacher Ben Kay, it takes longer than it should for only living a few blocks away.
2 bags of trash before I even get to the beach.
While stopping to pick up plastic and other items along his way, locally he's become known as the trash surfer, with this photo going viral spelling out the word help in plastic on his surfboard. Growing up in Santa Monica, he saw plastic pollution while surfing and fishing, but his eyes were really opened in 2008 after the first flush.
Which is when the first rains of the rainy season go down our storm drains and come out onto our beaches carrying a bunch of plastic.
So today, his students from his environmental club, Team Marine, are doing a beach cleanup hosted by Heal the Bay.
You're probably going to find little pieces of plastic that have broken from bigger pieces of plastic.
Ben has been involved locally in Santa Monica fighting plastic pollution for over 14 years. But a new federal bill called the Break Free from Plastic Pollution Act aims to help local and state efforts by creating new nationwide standards.
The pollution is in the air, in the water, in the soil, in the food we eat, and we can't tolerate that anymore. And if we're gonna save this planet from the chemicals, from the pollution, we need to act now.
The bill is large and comprehensive and is the first of its kind at the federal level. Southern California Congressman Alan Lowenthal introduced the bill and says it intends to reduce the amount of wasteful plastic that's produced and reform the nation's broken recycling systems.
Of the materials that are collected in the bins, only approximately 8% of them are ever recycled. The rest of it ends up in incinerators or in landfills.
The bill also shifts the burden of cleanup and waste management from local municipalities to the corporations that produce the waste.
The people that produce it have to be part of the solution and pay for the design of it. They have to be held accountable, and they also have to begin to think about how they're going to really use more of the materials that they collect.
Back at the beach, Ben and his students continue to pick up plastic, although no amount of effort will ever get it all. Local cities and counties don't have the resources, so Ben feels this federal legislation is part of the answer to the growing plastic pollution crisis.
Make sure that those companies that are choosing to make a product that nature cannot digest, that we hold them accountable to the waste management.
Global plastic production is expected to triple by 2050, but there is hope in this federal bill's solutions. But time is ticking, and without action, that hope would be meaningless. So plastic is a growing threat here globally. Humans are estimated to ingest about a credit card's worth of plastic every week. And there's been evidence that marine mammals are also getting entangled and ingesting plastic at an alarming rate as well, guys.
Wow. So the question is, Sarah, how did Congressman Lowenthal become inspired to take action on this front?
Well, it's interesting you asked that, Mel, because I just mentioned how animals are ingesting and getting entangled in this plastic. The congressman took a trip to Antarctica with his family, so pretty much right the end of the earth, and they were involved with some necropsies with both mammals and fish, and plastic was found in animals all the way down in Antarctica. So he thought if plastic is ending up in these species all the way down to Antarctica, that's thousands of miles away, then this is really becoming a global crisis in a bigger sense than we already think.
Indeed so, indeed so. And the stories like yours, Sarah, are so wonderful because it helps to expand our consciousness, right? So that we're more aware and we can make more conscious decisions. So thank you so much.
That's right. Thank you.
Renee?
Thanks, Melvin.